Hello my friends, good morning, and welcome to the very first video of Vlogmas 2022. Okay, so I'm attempting Vlogmas for the third year in a row. Hallelujah. Send me all the good vibes. I'm pre-filming these videos, so let's see how they go. I thought we would kick off the very first video of December with Christmas romance recommendations. So these are some of my favorite Christmas romances that I've read over the last few years, and I thought I would share them with you because they have excellent swoon, great characters, and really just joyful Christmassy vibes. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book I want to recommend is The Captain's Midwinter Bride. This is a novella. It's a historical romance, and it is a second chance romance with a married couple. And in their later years, their children are grown, their daughter is finally getting married, not finally, she's getting married, and so the hero was a sea captain. He's been at sea. Him and his wife were married in a marriage of duty or convenience, and so once they were married and they, had a few kids, he immediately went to sea to serve the crown. And she's basically been raising their family all by herself, and he finally comes back. He's retired, he's ready to settle down and be a family man. And so it's almost like they're meeting for the first time again, they're falling in love for the first time, and it's just so completely beautiful and lovely. This book was so romantic, and it was so swoony, and I absolutely loved seeing this older couple with children grown, I feel like this is such a unique setup. Just watching them being able to fall in love again was just perfect. I love this book so much. I do think that the Christmas vibes in this are pretty minimal, but the romance really made it worth it for me. But I just enjoyed it, and I want everyone to read that one. So the next book I want to talk about is The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese. This was released in 2021. This is a contemporary holiday romance, and this one is basically, it's pitched as The Hating Game meets You've Got Mail, that movie. And I think that's such an apt description of this, because we have our hero and heroine who are working for the same bookshop, and they are just barely finding out that the bookstore is going to close, or something is happening where they're downsizing, so only one of them can keep their position. So they kind of enter into this battle of sorts to prove which one is the better employee and who should get to stay there. And of course, she is sunshine, loves holidays, and he is grumpy and hates holidays. And it's just delightful. I mean, Chloe Leese is such a great writer. Everything that she writes is very readable. She has great characters. She has a great setup. This had excellent holiday vibes, and it was just very, very fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, the next book that I want to talk about is actually a new release for 2022. It's How the Grump Saved Christmas by Claire Kingsley. So this book is sort of set in the world in between books of her Bailey Brothers series and the Miles family. I think this one is Bailey Brothers. So it sort of takes place in between that, and you don't have to read the series because I certainly haven't finished the series. I just picked this up. I've read some of her books before, really, really loved them, and was excited to have a holiday romance from her. And this book was just so delightful. This book had so many classic holiday tropes in there, where we have, again, a very grumpy boss who is this head of this business, and he is sent to convince this family of a small Christmas farm, Christmas village, to sell because they're in really dire financial straits. The daughter of that family is, of course, the heroine, and these two were high school sweethearts, and they had something happen that tore them apart. And now they are thrown back into this world together where she wants to fight and save her family farm, complete with reindeer. There's a guard donkey. It's just such great, cute Christmas vibes there. She wants to save her family's farm so badly. And meanwhile, he wants to make sure and get the case, or close the deal for finances, big business boss. So it's a very typical Hallmark-esque type of movie, but it was done so well. It was just so much fun. There was a lot of great banter, there was a lot of great wit, they had great chemistry, but probably my favorite part was watching the hero dissolve from being a grump to this just loving man who wants to take care of people and isn't just ruled by money, And that really happened because of his assistant and her daughter, who has a disability, and he starts to have feelings for her and care for her and wants to make sure she's taken care of because her deadbeat dad certainly isn't. And it was just so delightful. This was charming as all get out. Perfect Christmas vibes. Just a really fun Christmassy book. And the audiobook was wonderful. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is Lovelight Farms. This is also a newer release. I don't know for sure if this was published this year or not, but I've been seeing it go around recently, so I picked it up. I absolutely loved this. This was also super charming, very, very fun, very swoony, very romantic. I feel like the romance was developed really well here. And I think that in some of these Christmassy books, the romance isn't developed as well as, you know, a book not set at Christmas time, but you're there for the vibes, you're there for the Christmas time, for the holiday magic, and you get that in all of these, I think. But in Lovelight Farms, I feel like the romance is really well developed here. It's very, very cute, it's very, very fun, there's a little bit of steam, and this is a fake dating relationship. So the heroine in here has a Christmas tree farm, and she wants to save it so badly, similar to the previous book. But she, you know, she's running out of money. She's not sure she's going to be able to save it. So she enters this competition with this social media influencer that will give her a lot of money where she'll be able to save the farm. However, because she knows who this social media influencer is and the way that she really prioritizes like romance and romantic things, she decides that she's going to say she has a boyfriend, who she doesn't actually have, to try and better her chances of winning this prize. And so she picks her friend and they enter into this fake dating relationship. It was so, so cute, very fun. I loved their relationship and the way that it developed from friends, maybe with feelings, through the fake relationship to finally having a relationship. It was very, very cute. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Okay, now for another historical, one of my favorites is How the Duke Stole Christmas. This is a bind-up of several short stories or novellas from some of my favorite historical authors. So you have Tessa Dare, Sarah MacLean, Sophie Jordan, and Joanna Shupe. And I really enjoyed all of these. Surprisingly, my least favorite in this collection was Sarah MacLean's. I felt like hers was definitely the weakest in my opinion. I didn't love it that much. My favorite was Joanna Shupe's. I think she does a short story really, really well, and hers just absolutely blew me away. I loved it so much. And then my second favorite was Sophie Jordan's, and then Tessa Dare's, and then Sarah MacLean's. So this was very fun. If you're looking for maybe like a bite-sized Christmas stories that you can tackle, like this would be great. I feel like a lot of people have read this, but I had to mention it because I love it so much. Okay, another one that I have is a novella. This is a sapphic one, and it is Mangoes and Mistletoe. This has been out for a few years. I've heard a few people talk about it. I read this a few years ago, and I absolutely loved this. I felt like this, again, was super charming, very swoony, very steamy, and just had such fun Christmas vibes and great characters, too. So this is sort of like a spin on a Great British Bake Off type of thing, where we have all these bakers come to compete for the prize at Christmas time. And two of the contestants, of course, end up meeting, working together, and falling in love. And it was just fantastic. This is actually one of my favorite sapphic romances, and the fact that it's set at Christmas is just like, and with Great British Bake Off vibes, is just like chef's kiss perfection. It was so fun. I just really enjoyed that one a lot. Okay, and the last one that I have to talk about is Miracle on Ladies' Mile. So this one is another Joanna Shupe one, and this little novella is truly one of my favorite novellas I've ever read. And I personally am not a huge fan of novellas. I really crave stories that have time to develop a little bit more, and I feel like it's pretty rare to get that in a novella. That's just not what I'm looking for as a reader. However, I feel like this one specifically had so much heart. It had so much character development. The relationship had a lot of time to build and create steam and tension, and I also really liked the background characters. So the basic premise of this is our heroine wants to be a fashion designer. She wants to work in that industry. She wants to design the windows of the department store in Gilded Age, New York, and so she takes a job setting up the designs in the windows, and she's working so hard at it. Like, she's trying to do such a good job. And so one night she's staying after hours, of course, setting up the rooms to make them look beautiful, and the owner of the department store sees her, and he's a widow with a young daughter, and he is just captivated by this beautiful young woman setting up this display in the middle of the night. He's captivated by her beauty, obviously, but also by her like tenacity and taking upon herself to work after hours to complete this. And they have this very cute meet cute where she kind of almost falls, and he swoops in to save her because of course he's been watching her. And they develop this sort of tentative relationship, or they have feelings for each other. They don't actually like start dating or do anything. But she does not know that he is the owner, and he's so worried when she finds out that she's just gonna like not be interested in him at all. So this was fantastic. I truly, truly loved and enjoyed this, and I actually think that I will reread this holiday season because it's just such a good one, and it really gives me like Miracle on 34th Street vibes, but with a romance. I love it so much. It was just so, so good. So, all right, my friends, there you have it. Those are some of my favorite Christmas romances that I thought I would recommend to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have made it this far and you want to leave me a comment, go ahead and leave me a Christmas tree. And if you want to let me know what your favorite Christmas romance is, let us know in the comments because I would love to know that as well. And I'll see you all in my next video.